This is my 1991 Ford Mustang LX 5.0 Foxbody hatchback. And this is a Gen 3 5.0 Coyote with a 10R80 out of a 2020 Mustang GT. And this is the start of swapping a Coyote into my Foxbody Mustang. I purchased this Mustang August of last year with the intent of Coyote swapping it. And well, as you can see, we're here. We're ready to go. We're ready to roll. Well, not quite. Just like any project car, it takes time and money and patience and money and favors and money and permission from the wife and money and help from friends. And oh, did I mention money? Thus far, babe, please cover your ears, I have spent on what you see here $16,990.66.
Stop it. Get some help.
And this is just the tip of the iceberg. What you see here is physically going to get this engine into this car. It's not going to get it running or driving. And like the Titanic, my financial well-being might also sink to the frigid, cold Atlantic Ocean bed, where it will lay to rest and peacefully pass away. This combo double whammy McDouble Duo Deuce twosome is the main cause to the financial pain in my rear end. And well, besides the fact that I shoved a fistful of baby carrots up. This combo cost me $9,300. That is more than what I bought this car for. But it's worth it. Well, kinda, maybe. You see, I bought this from a salvage yard that kind of specializes, but not really, in pulling drivetrains out of wrecked vehicles. The thing with my engine is, at some point during the wreck, the oil pan was ruptured. Now, I know, but I don't know. With newer vehicles, they have a sensor or a switch that will shut the engine off or cut fuel or cut spark to the engine when it is in a wreck. Now, I can't confirm that this did happen with this engine, but I do have a strong feeling that it did. So I'm really hoping, praying for that happened with this vehicle. So that is what we're going to look at today, is the bottom side of this engine to make sure everything is A-OK, ready to go, so I can throw it in here. So what do you get with a $9,300 engine trans combo? Well, you obviously get an engine trans, but I also got cats, random miscellaneous hoses, mass airflow sensor. I got all the front accessories. I got the gas pedal, the ECU TCM, and a fuse box. So that is what came with it. And that's really all I need as far as from the donor vehicle. Now there is a tag on the engine that the salvage yard put on the engine with some pre-installation instructions, and there's one on there that I'm specifically going to focus on. I'm going to do them all, but I'm going to specifically focus on this one, and it is remove spark plugs, turn crankshaft several times to clear cylinder of all oil before starting. When I purchased this engine, I knew it was from a wrecked vehicle. I knew the salvage yard did not attempt to start it because of the oil pan, but I did rotate the engine over before I bought it to verify that it did turn over, it wasn't seized, which it obviously wasn't. So with that information, and the information I said earlier about vehicles turning off when they're in a wreck, they have a sensor or a switch or something that turns off the engine or kills fuel, kills spark. With all that knowledge, I took the gamble and I purchased the engine. So without further ado, I'm going to remove the spark plugs, get this hoisted up in the air, remove the oil pan, and verify that this engine is a good engine. Here we go. Alrighty, as you guys just saw, I got all the spark plugs out. Pretty easy, straightforward. They all look the same, so I think this was running pretty good. I mean, it shouldn't have a reason why it wouldn't. I didn't mention this earlier, but I did purchase this engine with 40,000 miles on it. It was a convertible Mustang GT, so it was most likely driven by a woman. So good or bad thing, possibly couldn't have been abused on, but you know, women and vehicles in general, not a good mix. Anyway, but yeah, I'm going to get a socket for the crankshaft bolt. I'm going to turn it over now, but I'm also going to turn it over once I get the oil pan up, just to make sure everything's rotating nicely. Looks like we got an 18 mil. Guess I should get all these wires away from the belt, but as you guys can see, pretty smooth. There is a little bit of a noise over here though. This AC compressor got hit along with the oil pan. The car got hit on the passenger front, but yeah. Cool. Alrighty, I'm going to, I don't know what I'm gonna do now. One other thing I thought about too was, even if there was oil in these cylinders, it's got a long way to go to get out if there was. So, I mean, it didn't even sound like it. There was any sort of fluid that would be in there. And then the spark plugs, they also look fine. They're not wet by any means, so there's no oil in there. So that first step is done on that maintenance instruction list or whatever. But yeah, I'm gonna get this hoisted up and then start pulling that oil pan off. I have the engine hoisted up now, sketchily I might add, and I would not recommend doing what I am doing. That being, I have chains going to the engine mounts here, going over the header onto the valve cover here. There is a company out there that does make a specific plate that goes around the heads so you don't have to run a chain like that over the valve covers. This would also be much easier if I didn't have a gigantic transmission coming off the back end here. And speaking of transmissions, there's one thing I forgot to mention, and that is the pan is also broken on the transmission, but that was done by the salvage yard when they pulled the engine. So I'm not concerned about the transmission being bad or anything like that. Also, one more thing I forgot to mention is there's still oil in the pan, and I knew that when I got it, so that also helped me decide on getting this engine and knowing that it'd probably be okay even though I didn't see it run. I didn't show you guys where the engine pan was hit, but it was hit right there. I think a piece of the frame or body cut into it. It's a pretty clean cut. And like I said, I'm going to get this engine oil pan off and transmission pan off and replace them. So with as much money as this build is costing me, I may have to squeeze out as much content with what little parts money buys me. Some videos are going to be short and dry, and some might be long and wet. Wait, what? So bear with me. And on the subject of making videos, this is my interpretation of Coyote swapping my Mustang. So if I don't do something that you would have done, don't get butthurt about it. But also, if you have some constructive criticism, I would love to hear it. Leave it down in the comments below, and I will try to do it if it makes sense to me. I am by no means an expert on car mechanics, but I am handy, just ask your wife, and I'm mechanically inclined, and I'm just a cool car guy that wants a fast, cool car, and I just want to share my experience with you guys. So here it is. Alrighty, and with that being said, I'm just about done taking the oil pan off. There's just this wiring harness here for the O2 sensors I gotta take off. And then up here, there is for the starter, a couple plastic tabs right here. Okay, and I just got one bolt holding it in up top here, or up in the front. All these bolts are the same size. You have 10mm bolts, and then you've got 3 studs. One went here, here, and here for this ground. And that ground has a nut that holds it on. Cool. Looks like we got everything off. Gonna pull this down. Everything looks pretty good in here. I'm tempted to take off a rod cap just to see if there's any sort of starvation of oil, but you can see there's oil still dripping off of the crank and the connecting rods. So I don't think I'm gonna take any rod caps off or main caps. Definitely not main cap, but this engine does look good under here. I'm probably gonna go ahead and spin it a few times just to make sure nothing's binding up, but I did that before and everything was pretty smooth, so. Alrighty, I'm gonna clean up the surface, mating surface on the engine side and on the new oil pan. I'm gonna clean that up and then throw it on. Alrighty, I got the oil pan on. I'm gonna move on to the trans pan. As far as that oil pan goes though, 10 foot-pounds plus 45 degrees for the torque spec. Yeah, that's really it. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. But yeah, gonna move on to the trans pan. Well, the magnet in the pan was broken, so that's not cool. And I really should have got a new filter and gasket, but I didn't. The engine's only got, trans I guess, it only has 40,000 miles on it, so it's right when you're supposed to change the fluid and filter, but I don't have one, so I'm not gonna do it. The only concerning thing I see, let me see if I can get you guys in here. Right here, I don't know if there's something supposed to be in there. Looks like it's hollow. Can you guys see up in there? Yeah, it looks a little hollow, but maybe there's not supposed to be something in there. But I'm gonna get this new pan back on. You can reuse these seals. I actually did a 75,000 mile service on my F-150, and it's got the 10R80 also, and you can reuse the gasket, but I wouldn't. A seal for the filter, and a gasket is like 50 bucks or something, 40 bucks on Amazon, I think I paid. So really inexpensive insurance, I guess. But I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit and send it and throw the new pan on and wrap this thing up. Alrighty guys, that is going to be a wrap on this first episode of the Coyote swap. We got this thing hoisted up today, got the oil pan and trans pan replaced, and then next episode we're going to move on to the headers and the K-member. I am going to have to figure out how I am going to hoist this engine up, because I have it hoisted by the engine mounts right now, and I guess the headers at this point too. And I need to get to both of those to put on the K-member. So, yeah. Well, I'll save it for next episode. So, but with all that being said, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that jazz, and we will catch you on the next one.